What's up, everyone? It's Brandon here again for another video. Tonight I was walking around outside of my house. I just went for a short walk because I was feeling a little bit unfulfilled. I kind of had this feeling that I have, every once in a while when I come home late. Now that I'm single, I live on my own. I just come home to an empty house and I kind of think, is this it? Is this all that life has for me? So I went for a little walk. And I did this, honestly, is one way to kind of get my mind off of the way that I was feeling. Also, I thought, maybe I'll walk around, I'll feel a little bit better. And I had a thought after I had been walking for a little bit. And the thought was, what if humans weren't unhappy? And I had this thought because I started thinking to myself, okay, I have all these things that I can be thankful for in my life. I can afford to pay all of my bills and also save, and I don't have to work overtime. I can choose my own schedule. I can walk into work a little bit late. No one even says a thing to me. Like, it's pretty nice. I have my own car. I can afford it. I can afford where I live. I have family surrounding me. I have probably a dozen family members within a 15-30 minute drive. I get to see my parents almost every single week. And if I don't, it's because I, was busy, or I was the one who chose not to, usually. And it's easy for me to be like, oh, I wish I could hang out with this person, or I wish I was friends with this person, or I wish I was dating this person. But really, it's like, I have friends who want to hang out with me every single week. I have social things that I can do every single week. I have opportunities to become engaged in my community. There are so many things to be thankful for. One of the main things that I was thinking, too, when I went to walk outside, I was thinking, it's like 1 a.m. Actually, it's almost like 2 now, but it was like 1 a.m. when I first went to walk around. And I was just thinking, like, I live in a small town. It's not super small. I have all the stores and things that I need to, get any of the products, services that you really truly need. Pretty much everything is here. It's a town of about 40,000 people in Indiana in the United States. The cost of living is low, but it's just so much safer than, so many other areas, in the United States, in bigger cities, not to mention other countries. I actually live in kind of a low-income area of my city, and I was able to walk outside at 1 a.m. and have pretty much no fear that anything's going to happen to me. I didn't need to exercise my Second Amendment right and carry a gun just to feel safe. No, I mean, things were okay. And it's just amazing. There are all these things laid out in front of me that I could be thankful for. And honestly, it makes me feel better. It makes me feel happier and more fulfilled just to focus on those things and keep those things in mind. And you'll hear so many people give that as advice. Just be thankful for what you have, and it's really cliche advice, and it doesn't always work. But doing a list like what I just did now, and me really thinking to myself, like, what are all these things I could be thankful for? It does make me feel a bit better, at least. But really what I wanted to talk about in this video was the idea. What if I wasn't unhappy when I had all these things, or even less things? What would the world look like? And honestly, the world wouldn't look quite as good, because you really got to think about it. Something that keeps humans moving forward is we are almost never satisfied. We are almost never satisfied in any pursuit that we do. Whether it's to make more money, whether it's to find love, whether it's to find friendship, whether it's to spend time with family, whether it's a spiritual pursuit, to find God, to become enlightened, to meditate, all these things. You always think you could be better. You always think there's something better around the corner. It's an intrinsic human value. I mean, this is one thing that is really centrally, designed in our brains. Dopamine, one of our main neurotransmitters, one of the main things that it is, for one, it's our pleasure chemical, but even more so, dopamine is released by the pursuit of a goal. It's not even like you get some huge dopamine release that makes you feel good and happy when you actually buy something or when you actually achieve a goal. It more how it works is when you're getting close to achieving the goal, when you're on the way, when you're on that climb upwards, that's when you start to get the dopamine. And yeah, you feel good when you achieve a goal. But even more so, the systems that keep us moving forward in our brain, they're really focused more on progress and moving forward rather than actually achieving the thing. When you achieve the thing, you don't feel quite as good. That's the beginning of you feeling unfulfilled again. And it really almost doesn't matter what category of life it's in. It just keeps happening. So this is something that it's good to be aware of. What is causing me to always be unfulfilled, to always be wanting more. It's something it's good to keep in the back of your mind, just so you know that, if you're constantly unhappy, you're not necessarily going crazy. You're just dealing with a pretty human problem. But honestly, yeah, if humans weren't unhappy, I think we would see a world where there weren't all these nice houses around, where there weren't utilities ran all throughout so many different countries, where people didn't have running water and electricity, where you didn't have a warm place to stay in the winter, where there weren't a million different awesome movies to watch. It's really funny, like if you even just take movies as an example. If you look back 50 years ago, yeah, there were some really great movies that were made, but if you compare a movie made 50 years ago to a movie made this year, the movie made this year is going to shit all over the movie made 50 years ago, probably even in story. Like even the storytelling content and like the actual like form of the movie, not even talking about the graphics and the sound and all that, fit like kind of the physical components of the movie. Even if you look at the content itself and like the creativity, even that's gotten better. Like over probably some of the absolute best films of like those older eras. We're just continuously progressing. And of course, in human history, we always have some hiccups here and there. Maybe a major war here or there, couple each century, who knows. But at the end of the day, it's just crazy to see that in one way, our unhappiness, our inability to become fulfilled, our constant neuroticism, seeking better results and better things and new things, that unhappiness is ultimately what makes us have all these things surrounding us, all these physical things, and also all of these different social connections now thanks to the internet, and other things that allow us to connect with one another, such as cars and transportation. With all of this in mind, these things allow us to, at the end of the day, be happier, have better lives, have lives that are not as stressful. We do not have to fight for our survival every single day, or at least most human beings on the planet today don't have to do that. Of course, there are some very bad countries out there, but it's just crazy the point that we're getting to. And what's even crazier is to think, what if human life progresses for another 1,000 years at the pace that we're going at now? Can you imagine where we'll be? Can you imagine what it will be like? And can you imagine how that progress is going to come from our nature of being so difficult to satisfy? So anyway, just a little bit of a, video. I like to talk about ideas like this. They interest me. So if you're interested in stuff like this, or other content, you can check out my channel. I have plenty of videos, and you can look there and see kind of what I focus things around. But anyway, subscribe if you want to see more. Give this video a like if you were entertained or got some value out of it. And I'll see you guys again in another video. Thanks for watching.